There should only be 3 forms of pool that interest you, nothing else. And that is your swimming pool in summer, when you take a dip in that beautiful blue water and you cool down. Number 2, you go out with your friends and you play pool, 8-ball, right? Great game, a lot of fun. Over a couple of drinks, gets very interesting. And number 3 is you pool some money. $5 from him, $5 from her in your office, and you buy yourself a lottery ticket and maybe become a millionaire. That's it. No other pool should ever be considered, which leads me to Uber pool, rideshare pooling. Now, firstly, and this is going to be an interesting topic, and I really want to hear people's opinions on this. This is an area where we need to gang up, right? We have a lot of drivers. We have a lot of influence collectively over Uber and Lyft if we say absolutely no to pooling, right? The equivalent in Lyft. When you have 2 strangers, 2 different identities getting in your car, you are now not just dealing with the driver and one party as it is with regular trips. You're dealing with 3 different energies, 3 different personalities. And that can often lead to a fight. It can often lead to a problem, a big problem. And I'll give you an example why. If I get into a discussion with one passenger on a regular trip, XL trip, SUV trip, X trip, and I see he or she is talking about a specific topic that I'm not interested in engaging, I can back off. I can steer the conversation in a different way. But when you have 3 parties in the car, right, different types of things happen. You may disengage, but let's say one of these drivers, one of the passengers brings up, one of the pool passengers brings up a topic that the other guy disagrees on. Politics, religion, whatever the case may be, right? It can go horribly wrong. And people that don't know how to communicate, right, it usually escalates very quickly. And that's why you will see that some of these pool trips have ended up in deaths. Some of these pool trips have ended up in screaming matches and fights, full-out brawls, right? And it's just not worth it. So what I think is sad is that, you know, Uber and Lyft are promoting this type of trip. This is obviously where they make the most money and keep you in the dark, because they are charging 2 different individuals different prices, right? Which you usually don't see. You just see your end result, what you're getting. But they make the most money on these trips. They're double dipping, and this is why they're pushing. So they're one of their weakest points, obviously being safety or the executive management, right? You know how I feel about them. But one of their weakest points is, or could be, pool. So by rejecting pool, hashtag no Uber pool or no Lyft pool, you're making a statement saying, I am not going to put myself in harm's way. I am not going to be a part of your system that invites in problems, right? Because worst case scenario, you got a gang member in your car, and then, you know, maybe another rival gang member gets in and all hell breaks loose, right? It has happened. So I would flat out reject any pool trip. Some of the cities, some of the markets will actually give you options. You can opt out X and pool, still remain on comfort or select, for example. And on a Friday or a Saturday night, you should be opting out of that X pool combination anyway. It's busy enough to warrant a lot of comfort or select rides, right? Why drive on multiple platforms and include X and pool when they give you this option to opt out, right? Opting out of pool is opting out of safety problems, right? They will come your way at some future point. And you may say, hey, this is not going to affect me. There's enough evidence, there's enough news out there, there's enough media to show how bad and how dangerous pool is. So let me get to the passenger and let me talk to the passenger, the rider, for a moment. Is it really worth it to save those few cents and those few dollars and put yourself in harm's way? You know what you're getting with your driver. We fully check, we have a background check, and one-on-one you're getting a safe trip. But now suddenly you, the passenger, are adding a third dynamic. You're basically saying or giving green light to the fact that somebody can get in the car, some complete stranger that you don't even know and that you have no control over, and you're giving permission to that by allowing pool, right? And I can recall a trip once. I was in Hollywood. It was late. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. I picked up a girl. I picked up another guy, and this is the very short, brief period that I was doing X pool because I wanted to X and pool because I wanted to know what these categories were about. I wanted to know what you could earn, and I needed the info for my videos, right? And I had a problem on my hand because I had this obnoxious guy who'd been drinking a lot, constantly trying to hit on this girl in the back. And I said, you know, give the lady some space, back off, buddy. And then he starts wanting to get into a fight with me. And I said, this is very simple. I'll throw you out of the car and I'll take the lady to her end destination because you are just acting like a drunken fool right now. And I said that because he was quite a small, you know, whiny, wimpish character that, had it escalated, good luck to him if you try to jump me. But, you know, I was confident enough, knew who I had in front of me, and I said, that's it, right? And who knows how the problem would have escalated between the two of them, right? She could have just said, you know, shut the fuck up, back off, you're being rude, you're being obnoxious, and then he turns around and slaps her across the face. And then all hell breaks loose, right? That's, you know, worst case scenario, can escalate. But these are the things that we are open to in pool. So long story short here, folks, I would reject pool at every single turn, every single possibility. I would decline it, right? And one of the main reasons is, and if they ever deactivate you over this, is that, hey, you have not come up with safety measures on pool. You have not checked out these individuals that got in the car with me. And if anything goes wrong, I would argue 100% that should something happen to you, should you be assaulted, should you be hit, Lyft or Uber are liable, right? Because they've actually initiated a problematic scenario. The other thing is, you know, if you want to leverage power against a company, if you want to unite, especially in these times, you know, when they're going deactivating Dustin over this, deactivating Geo over this, deactivating Torsten over certain referrals, you can see that a driver has really no value to them. Like a driver like Geo, who's done thousands and thousands and thousands of trips, way more than I could ever dream of, right? Has no value to them, and they just deactivate them. So if you don't have your plan A, your plan B, and your plan C ready, right, you could be deactivated over this. And I don't think it's worth working for a company that will ultimately deactivate you over pool, right? If they let you go over a pool matter, it's not worth it. Your safety is far, far, far more important than any deactivation, right? And pool is setting us up for problems, the driver and the rider. And I would encourage riders, I would request that you play this video again and just think about it for a minute, right? What am I opening myself up to? You're opening yourself up to problems, And is it worth it over those few dollars or those few cents that I'm saving? No, it's not worth it. So don't be cheap. Drive regular, drive one-on-one with your driver. You'll have a far safer trip. And drivers, say no to Uber, say no to Lyft. Have the courage to stand up against Pool. Thank you.